Hello, my name is Neo, and welcome to my channel. Today's video is Astrology 101 Basics Introduction to the Signs of Fire. Before going into sign breakdowns, there's one thing I wanted to mention dealing with the principle of positive and negative energy. In many teachings, positive energy is associated with masculinity, and negative energy is associated with the feminine. Now, this is not at all a reference to the idea of good and evil, or even being moral versus immoral. If you study electricity, as an electrician, you're taught that voltage can be both positive and negative. Negative in this sense, it does not mean evil. Instead, it's just saying that this is a different style of energy. As any electrician knows, positive and negative voltage is still usable voltage. So in this case, masculine and positive energy can be called active energy, while feminine or negative energy is called passive energy. Active signs are more direct, while passive signs tend to be indirect. All earth and water signs are considered to be passive and tend to be um, more reactive. And all fire and wind signs are considered active energy, so therefore they tend to lead by action. These aspects can be translated into the house themes since they're so closely associated with the zodiac signs. Now, with that being said, with every three, with every element, there are three associated signs. I'll be speaking on these three a bit. First off is the first sign of the zodiac, which is known as Aries. Aries is the ram, the first fire elemental that represents the sign of self, and it's ruled by Mars. The most likable trait of an Aries is being courageous, while their personality issues, you could say, is that they're prone to accidents and dangerous situations. The best relationship match is with Gemini and Sagittarius, while the polar opposite is Libra, the scales. Their key phrase is I am, and their key word is activity. Some of the famous people in history who have been Aries, one is Adolf Hitler, the famous dictator from World War II. We have Keith Ledger, who played the role as the Joker in The Dark Knight, which is known as not only one of the best movies ever made, but one of the greatest villain roles ever played, especially as a sociopath. We have Jackie Chan, who's actually one of the most famous martial artists to ever come into Western style media. Leonardo da Vinci, he's one of the great artists that formed the more classical eras. Elton John, a music artist who was an advocate for gay rights. Kourtney Kardashian, famous model. Emma Watson, the actress, now politician from Harry Potter series. And even Lady Gaga, the singer who likes to bathe in blood. Next in this list is the sign of Leo, which is the second fire elemental, also known as the sign of pleasure and creativity, ruled by Sol the Sun. The most likable trait about Leos is their exuberance, while their personality issues, talking lightly on it, they oftenly, unknowingly provoke people, unfortunately, while their best relationship matches is actually Sagittarius and Leo, which is kind of interesting. On a side note, when you look at the relationships as far as what zodiac signs are compatible with what zodiac signs, for almost every zodiac sign, the most boring relationship they can get into is a sign with themselves. So it normally doesn't work that well. Leo is one of the only, well, it is the only sign that actually one of its best zodiac matches as far as relationships is itself. And that has to deal with just the nature of Leo in general. They tend to love themselves greatly. Um, the polar opposite of the Leo is Aquarius, the water bearer. The key phrase is I will. The main key word is magnetism. So when we look at some of the famous people that make up Aries, we have Jason Momoa, who is the model actor from Game of Thrones, also currently Aquaman in 2008. We have Barack Obama, ex-U.S. president. We have Bill Clinton, um, another president full of scandals, unfortunately. Terry Crews, who is a bodybuilding black actor. Mick Jagger, one of the famous musical artists. Kylie Jenner, another famous model from TV. Jennifer Lopez, famous musical artist. And Whitney Houston, considered a diva of the times before her passing. The last fire sign I'll be going over is Sagittarius, the archer. This is the last fire elemental, also known as the sign of philosophy and higher thinking, ruled by Jupiter. The best trait of a Sagittarius is their optimism. Some of their personality issues, though, is that they're prone to accidents and they often provoke jealousy. Their best relationship match is Leos and Aquarius, while their polar opposite is Gemini, the twins. Their key phrase is I see, while the key word describing this sign is visualization. So, talking about some of the famous people, we have Pablo Escobar, who was one of the famous dealers. Winston Churchill, who was the British Prime Minister during World War II. You have Brad Pitt, one of the most famous actors, sex icons. Bruce Lee, who is considered one of the best martial artists to exist in the 21st century. Jay-Z, famous black artist. Stalin, who is a famous murderous dictator from Russia. Nicki Minaj, another famous black musical artist. Britney Spears, and her and Miley Cyrus, both musical artists. So that concludes my intro into fire, and the next group is the signs of earth. So subscribe or donate if you like what you hear. And until next time, this is Neo-Eso, and thanks for stopping by.